It has been a long time since I made one of these videos. So what's good, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy AD, and this is the Forbidden Juice, where we spill the juice on all things forbidden. Do you dare take a sip? Now, let's get into this because I've been seeing this going around on social media, and it made me think, you know what? Let me just bring this back and do this one time for the one time. So, recently, Twitter, all social media has been in an uproar about the fact that the Supreme Court in America has potentially decided that they are going to reverse their decision on a case from 1973, Roe versus Wade, which is a case where a woman was pregnant with her third child, and she decided that she didn't want the child anymore, so she wanted to get an abortion. But in Texas, it was illegal to get abortions, so she took some people to court over it, and the court then ruled in her favor. And as a result, plenty of states then made it legal for abortions to take place. However, like I said, Supreme Court is now deciding that they might just reverse the decision on that. It is suspected that about 26 of the 50 states in America might change their laws based on the ruling, the reversing of the ruling, and therefore make it illegal for abortions to be carried out. Or they will heavily restrict how abortions are carried out, which then obviously has gotten a lot of people upset about the situation. So, you know, pro-life, pro-choice, what's going on? Pro-life being that you are for the fact that these unborn babies deserve a shot at life, or pro-choice, i.e. you are for people being able to make a choice about whether they have abortions or not. Now, admittedly, I have done very little research. I will be brutally honest with regards to this particular mini episode. So I haven't done that much research on it, but before I did all of the research, I was pro-choice. So, you know, people should have the choice to be able to have an abortion or not. And after the research, I still maintain that side of things. I am still pro-choice. But you know what I try to do over here. I do try to give both sides of the argument. Now, if we go to the Wikipedia article on the abortion debate, this is kind of why I've stayed pro-choice, right? Because looking at the pro-life arguments, so the arguments against abortion, some of the talking points are largely based on the morality of it, which is why at the end of the day, I'm kind of like, that's not really enough for me. So, discrimination, first off, that they argue that it is discrimination against the unborn if you were to carry out an abortion. Deprivation, the fact that you are depriving the potential human of an actual future, an actual life. So you're depriving them of that, you know, just the capability of being able to do that. Arguments about uncertainty. So just to quote it from Wikipedia, it says some anti-abortion supporters argue that if there is uncertainty as to whether the fetus has a right to life, then having an abortion is equivalent to consciously taking the risk of killing another. According to this argument, if it is not known for certain whether something such as a fetus has a right to life, then it is reckless and morally wrong to treat that thing as if it lacks a right to life. So, yeah, they're kind of saying, like, look, if you're not really sure about whether a fetus is or isn't a living thing, it's better to err on the side of caution and not abort it in case it is actually a life. That's what they're saying with that argument. The slippery slope argument, saying that anti-abortion activists are saying that normalizing abortion can then lead to the normalization of other practices such as euthanasia. So for anybody who doesn't know, euthanasia is the practice of basically murder, but it's legal and consented murder. For example, let's say that you're a cancer patient who is suffering, you are in an immense amount of pain, you can't tolerate it anymore, and you know that you're not going to make it out anyway. You're just like, look, please just kill me off right here because I'm not going to make it anyway, and I'm just suffering at this point for no good reason. Euthanasia, or being able to euthanize that person, would then be just killing them legally. They've given their permission for them to be killed, so they administered, you know, like something that maybe like paralyzes them or slows their heart rate down and basically kills them off in a humane manner. So that's euthanasia. And then it's like, okay, what's the legality on that side of things? Like, if we are allowing people to kill unborn babies, then what is to say that we're not gonna eventually allow people to kill other human beings. So yeah, that's and then obviously there's the religious side of the debate as well. Just it's considered immoral from all sorts of different religions. Christianity obviously being one of the big ones that they cite, but also things like Islam as well. So my thing with all of this is, as I was raised Christian, so I definitely understand that side of things. But my thing is basically these two things, right? First of all, there doesn't seem to be enough science, like enough facts that supports the reason why abortion should be illegal and why an abortion is essentially dangerous to a female, more so than pregnancy. That's the thing. Like, because abortions can be dangerous. Don't get twisted. Abortions can definitely be dangerous. But an abortion, as far as I'm aware, is no more life-threatening or dangerous to an individual than pregnancy. If anything, pregnancies are actually a whole fuckery, and there's just this large pool of issues that can that pertain to the complications from pregnancy. So if anything, it could be argued that abortion is actually quite preventative in several of those pregnancy issues. So that's one. Like, there is an argument on the pro-life side of things that says that there is, or rather it's a hypothesis that breast cancer is the risk of getting breast cancer is higher for people that go through abortions. However, that contrasts with some scientific data that exists saying that that is not the case. So that's one, right? The scientific argument. Just the fact that there's not really any facts with regards to abortion being like a bad thing, like a really, really bad thing. The second thing is that because it's based largely on morals, right? That can be a debate that is switched however you want it to be switched. And my personal thing in life is simply this, right? Whether I agree with you or not, you should be able to do whatever you want to do. You know what I mean? As long as you're not hurting anybody, and as long as you're not, like, doing something crazy, like, doing something real crazy, like, you should be able to do whatever you want to do. Now, that does sound contradictory when I also then say that a fetus is a life. That even though I feel that even though a fetus is incapable of rational conscious thought, emotion, yada yada, this and that, like, guys, it's a nugget of person like that big. You feel me? Like, it isn't capable of doing most things that even a newborn baby can do, right? I think fetuses, when they're in the window of being able to be aborted, I don't think fetuses even have like digestive systems or like the basic things that an organism would need to survive, right? So even though there is this like little nugget of human that is alive, right, by whatever intents and purposes or measures you want to say it's alive, I still feel as if you should be able, like, obviously if you abort it, then you're killing it, which does harm it and stuff, and that goes against my thing of as long as you're not hurting anybody. But I still feel that when you are basically the person who is deciding to do this, you should be free to do it whatever you want, because that's your kid, that's your baby, that's that's on you. You feel me? And especially being a man, I feel like we shouldn't decide what to do with with women's bodies. Like, men shouldn't be deciding what women do with their bodies. Now, when it's with the like moral side of things, again, my thing is, look, whether I agree with you or not, you do your thing. Don't expect me to co-sign your shit. That's the thing, right? So morally, I think that an abortion is wrong, because, again, I said it's a little nugget of human that is incapable of thoughts and emotions, whatever. But it's a human. You feel me? So it's sad that you have to snuff little Timmy before he becomes like actual Timmy. I do think it is morally wrong, but at the same time, like I said, to me, it's like, it makes more sense for you to snuff it before it has a chance to experience the bullshit that is this world and the potential life that they could be thrust into unfairly, than, like, making them go through all of that shit. Because let's be real, the quality of life that an unwanted baby will probably go through can't be that great. You know what I mean? And I would be very interested to see the sort of science that is behind, kids who could have been aborted but weren't aborted, and see what happened to them later on down the line, sort of thing. You feel me? I'm sure that there's a bunch of success stories, but I'm also sure that there's a bunch of failures as well out there, quote unquote failures. Of course, I'm being a bit harsh when I say something like that, but let's look at some data before we then go off into the comments to have ourselves a little discussion. So there was a poll that was carried out, or a few polls that were carried out, and the results are shown on a website called Gallup.com. Of course, you know me, I'll leave the links to all the little bits of articles and research that I've looked into in the description below. But and with this poll, it doesn't say how large the sample size was. It doesn't show what country it was carried out in. So take it with a grain of salt is what I'm trying to say. But even then, it's still pretty interesting, the sorts of things that have come out from it. So when people, for example, were asked as of the 3rd to the 18th of May 2021, do you think abortion should be legal under any circumstances, legal only under certain circumstances, or illegal in all circumstances? 32% said it should be legal under any circumstance. 48% said it should be legal only under certain circumstances. 19% said it should be illegal in all circumstances, and 2% had no opinion whatsoever. So the majority say that it should be legal. Only a very few said that it should be illegal. However, if we go over to some other data, people who were asked this question, they were asked as of the 3rd of the 18th to May, the 3rd to the 18th of May 2021, are you pro-choice or pro-life? After being asked this question on the legality of the issue, 49% said that they were pro-choice, 47% that they were pro-life, 2% were mixed or neither, 1% said that they don't know what the term means, and then 1% had no opinion whatsoever. So as you can see, even though according to the poll, a lot of people said that abortion should be legal, but under varying sort of circumstances, the majority said that it should be legal. Like the overwhelming majority said it should be legal in some sort of capacity. The split between pro-choice and pro-life is actually very, very close. I mean, 2% difference between pro-choice and pro-life, with only 4% then being in some sort of other category, whether they don't know what it means to be pro-choice or pro-life, whether they don't have an opinion at all, or whether they're kind of in and ahhing and don't really know where they sit on both sides of the argument. One little other bit of data that I will point out to as well is people's opinions about the Roe vs. Wade decision, because that is what's getting people kicked up about right here, right now. So again, May 3rd to May 18th, 2021, when this poll was carried out, would you like to see the Supreme Court overturn its 1973 Roe vs. Wade decision concerning abortion or not? 32% yes, they should overturn the decision. 58% said no, don't overturn the decision, and 10% had no opinion on it whatsoever. So again, we still see that the majority of people as of 2021 are basically in support of abortion being allowed, whether that is in some sort of capacity, in any sort of capacity, in every sort of capacity. There is support for it, but opinions have changed, because the data over here, it seems to go back as early as 1989. So you will see how the opinions have changed over time, with all of the things that have been going on in society and rare this and that, and just how public opinion has changed. So yeah, just very, very interesting data to look at. Again, don't know the sample size, don't know which country it was that was carrying it out. It is fair to assume that it is America, since they are talking about Roe vs. Wade, which is an American case. But yeah, pro-choice versus pro-life, the majority still seem to be on the pro-choice side, but that trend seems to have been changing. If I go back to some of the data that I was looking at earlier, right? So how I said that 49% were pro-choice and 47% were pro-life? Back in 1995, so when it seems they first did this, 56% were pro-choice, but 33% were pro-life. Meaning that over the years, more and more people have been saying that no, abortion should not be legal, that these fetuses have the right to live. So that's a very interesting thing to note over there. But yeah, man, what do you guys think about it? Like I said, I'm still pro-choice even after the research that I've done. I just see that they're just on a factual level, it makes more sense to allow people the choice to be able to carry out abortions. Just because abortions are available doesn't necessarily mean that you know, there will be so many abortions. Also, you've got to consider that not everybody's circumstances are the same. So, for example, two teenagers who were being very irresponsible and happen to get pregnant and want to abort the kid is a very different situation to somebody who's been sexually assaulted by like a family member, and the baby that is going to be coming out will be the result of inbreeding in the family, and it is also a minor that got sexually assaulted as well. So it's a minor who has to give birth to their own baby who would like biologically also be their brother or be their cousin. You feel me? Like, that is a very different situation and not as rare as you think it is, by the way. So you've got to take into consideration the fact that those sorts of things happen, which is the reason why those sorts of people have abortions. And if we just go with that as an example as well, you've got to think, okay, cool, if we're talking about the morality of like, oh yeah, that fetus should have a chance at life. It's like, do you want that fetus to have a chance at life? Because that child is going to come out with genetic deformities, right? And the effect that that's going to have on both the mother, the family as a whole, and the kid is just totally not going to be the same or equal, you know, quality of life that a normal pregnancy would. You feel me? So you just gotta like look at it in that side of on that side of the spectrum as well with regards to morality. But like I said, man, you guys sound off in the comments. You guys let me know what you think, whether you are pro-choice, pro-life, etc. Again, like I said, I don't really fuck with the pro-life the pro-life side of things, just because there's just not enough facts in there for my liking. You know, I can come up with way more facts and like logical arguments against taking away people's ability to abort than I've been able to see with them saying that no matter what, you should let these people have children. The way I see it, if you remove abortion from these people, one, people are going to find ways to abort the kids anyway. Two, there's going to be an increase in domestic violence from potential fathers who don't want to be fathers and are frustrated with the fact that they now have a potential pregnancy on their hands. And three, you will see an increase in suicides and depression and all other sorts of mental health stuff, because there's gonna be people in situations that got pregnant that didn't want to get pregnant and are unable to cope with the fact that they are pregnant. Not every single one of those situations will be people being irresponsible. Again, an example, some person could be taking the pill, have been loyally taking the pill for ages and ages. They could also be using other sorts of contraception like a condom, and they still find themselves pregnant, even though they were doing what they basically could do to prevent pregnancy while still being able to obviously enjoy their life. You know, it's gonna be a very upsetting situation for you then, because you didn't want to get pregnant and you tried not to get pregnant with all this sort of stuff that you are typically recommended to not get pregnant, and it all failed you, and now you're pregnant. You'd be kind of pissed, right? So yeah, it's just there's just too much in the way of being able to allow people to choose that I couldn't possibly think of real logical reasons why not allow people the choice. You know what I mean? Like that's what we're arguing for at the end of the day, the choice to be able to do it. Whether you restrict those choices or not is a completely other thing, but I feel that people should be allowed to choose. You know what I mean? But let me know in the comments what you guys think. It's been dope being able to get back on the camera, talk my nonsense as I normally do. I am looking to bring back the forbidden juice, so please guys, just keep your eyes peeled, all right? Because the forbidden juice is looking to come back soon. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. I'll let you boy. Peace.